You're watching Tea and Poetry with Dave Steele, the blind poet.
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Bari Azman, and I have the honor and pleasure to be here with the one and only Dave Steele, the blind poet. We are super excited to be here with you today, pre-Thanksgiving for those of you here in the United States or outside the United States. If you want to, take on Thanksgiving, we'd love to have you enjoy and participate in the turkey. It's just great to be here, and like Dave was saying, God willing, next week, Dave will be landing in the United States. And then for 2 weeks in a row, right? 2 weeks in a row, we will be able to do Tea and Poetry live together. So super excited about that. And we're going to share some details about some events that have yet to be announced, and really looking forward to this monumentous experience and time for Dave to be back here in the U.S. First things first, we are going to be reading some incredible poetry, Dave. That I can guarantee. We're going to be talking everything about sight loss and what's on your mind. And we want to encourage everyone, just like Travis automatically does and raises his hand by clicking on that button to raise your hand. Please join the conversation. We love to hear from you. We really love when people interact. You have the choice to do it with audio and video or just audio, whatever you're comfortable with. This is a great opportunity to connect, and not only to connect with us, but also to connect with the community and what Allison always calls us as the tribe. So got a lot of energy today. I'm very pumped. It's been a nonstop day here in the office, and I've been looking forward to this specific Tea and Poetry for so many reasons. You can raise your hand if you want to connect with us. You can go into the chat. We monitor the chat. We will go through it. We will read it. We will share your thoughts, your comments, all of that. And Dave, thanks for letting us know the chat is up and running. And you can also post in the Q&A. Travis, Dave, Ellie, it's great to see you. Ken, good morning from down under in Australia. Great to see some new faces, and of course, all the wonderful repeat faces here. So, Dave, how's it going?
It's good. It's going extremely well. As you said, it's been a very, not just a busy day, but a busy few weeks. We've kind of been working in the background, putting the final plans together for the trip next week. And it's all coming together very, very nicely. We have just made an official announcement a couple of hours ago on an event that we're going to be talking about today. And since I put that announcement out about the event that's happening on the 2nd, my phone has been, as they say, blowing up big time. I've been getting messages from people, not just from the blind community, but from another community that is linked to this event, and we're going to speak about that in a little bit more detail shortly, I believe, because
amazing.
Unbelievable. This event that we're going to talk about and announce here officially. So I put the official announcement out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and places like that just about 2 hours ago. But yeah, well, to talk and officially announce it here and go into a little bit more detail and talk about it, it's going to be something very exciting. As I said, something that I've been personally working on for this to happen now for
a year?
Well over a year. Yeah, over a year, about a year and a half. So yeah.
It's I think we should read some poetry first, and then I think we should go into that reveal. And let's talk about the trip, some of the pre-planned, opportunities that are going to be out there. And
can I just say as well, look at this. I've got to show you. I know it's because I'm going away next week. We had to do this a bit early.
Nice.
The Christmas tree is up.
Beautiful.
The decorations are up in the house. We're leaving the country next week. We wanted to make sure we got that done, and I was part of putting the tree up and all the decorations on it and things. So I've been sat here. I'm sat here in quite a low light. I'll kind of audio describe the room. I'm sat in my living room, although it probably doesn't look dark to you. It's quite dark in here, and you've just got the lights of the Christmas tree and it's been quite nice. My son Austin's been off school today. He's been a bit sick today, so he's just a bit of a cold, kind of that time of the year where they pick up little bugs and stuff. And so I've been looking after Austin all day today. We sat under the lights of the Christmas tree and watched some films together, and we'll be doing the same again tomorrow as well.
I want to say, Dave, you just reminded me of something that I
noticed.
we got to be more mindful of this. We've activated the live transcription for individuals who maybe have Usher syndrome, where it's difficult to maybe hear us. We do have the live transcription that is now up on the screen. So very excited about that. Oh, there it is, Holmes. Here we go. Yes, so glad we got that. I had a visitor here in Miami to the Low Vision shop, and this young individual, created that reminder for me. So
yeah, good. And a big shout out to Monica. Yeah, so for those people that are kind of new to seeing poetry, we always tend to start with a piece of poetry and end with a piece of poetry. And what we like to do with any of the poems that I read is, I know Bari likes to kind of listen to the words and sometimes take notes. And you don't have to take notes, obviously, but if there is a particular phrase that jumps out or hits you and strikes a bit of emotion, then we like to kind of talk about it afterwards. And if you can definitely relate to any of the words in this, then I'd love to hear about it in the comments, or as Bari said right at the beginning of the call, to raise your hand and come and join in and talk, because that's what these things are all about. So this one is quite a long one, and there's a lot in here, but you're really going to get it, okay? And the reason why I wanted to read this piece of poetry today is because, as we said right at the beginning, I'm going to be coming over to the States next week, and for the first time since COVID, traveling internationally, which obviously creates a bit of anxiety, but also I will be facing some of the misconceptions that often people face with low vision and blindness when I am, making my way through the airport using my cane, but still looking around at things in like the duty-free shops and things like that, and also getting assistance and then getting onto the plane and then maybe using my cell phone or watching something on a tablet, or so I do face a lot of these things. So I wanted to kind of read a piece of poetry right from the beginning that kind of tackles a lot of these misconceptions. So here we go. If you think that being blind means that I cannot see your face, or that once where perfect vision was, now suddenly no trace, then maybe you will be surprised to learn of fading sight, of sunshine's glare as strangers stare. It's not all black and white. The eyes are complicated things, and so's the way we see. Just because there's little left, it doesn't mean that I'm not me. But it's hard to see my struggles when there's just no outward sign. For this blindness is invisible by its hereditary design. The effects are more internal. It's a drain on mental health. My head is full of anxious thoughts. My pride is on the shelf. The simple things I used to do these days are tougher test. But I see some things much clearer since my vision headed west. For blindness taught me things I wished I'd known for many years. It's given me the strength to tell the world about my fears. Will I become a burden? How in future will I cope? When little left has disappeared, will I still see there's hope? Will my children be affected, destined to pick up this cane? Will they face these misconceptions? Will their struggles be the same? If these questions that inspire me change how, it's these questions that inspire me to change how we're perceived. For now, I'm thriving blind, and this blind poet will succeed. But without you reading this, my story's lost inside of me. It's why I chose to write it down in verse and poetry, in the hope that this message resonates and stirs within your soul. To be a voice for others, that has always been my goal. So if my 2 cents has made some sense and left you knowing more, or what someone like me can face to step outside my door, please share this with your friends in hope this poem will erase the challenges that those like me each day now have to face.
That was a long one. And I didn't take any notes because I was listening to every single word. And, I think this piece, was there a title to this piece? I mean, this is the journey, right? This is
Yeah.
your journey.
That's a great title.
Right? The journey.
Yeah.
I really think that it's literally like a roadmap.
Yeah.
Of, I think, being diagnosed. I just, every word that came out of your mouth from there, I just able to like create this visual in my head of as you're going through those different, stages in life and dealing with sight loss. A very powerful piece, very
Thank you.
powerful piece.
And I've just written on my, I'm just writing on my iPad.
The journey.
The journey. Absolutely.
I really think that it's a very appropriate title. That's what, to me, that's what you just shared with me.
That's what it's called.
Sweet. My first title of one of Dave's pieces of poetry. There's always
going to be
many
more firsts to come over the next few weeks.
Yes, I am. Very excited. Okay, now that we got the first piece of poetry out there, hopefully everyone, felt that same way as far as that journey with sight loss. I mean, that really, not just straight from the heart, but literally you laid it right out and put everything out there. And
can I just say as well, last week on Tea and Poetry, we had really some great interaction. A lot of people coming on the call and wanting to talk about some of the topics that we were talking about, Sedona Dave, and everything. I think we really struck something last week. So I want to kind of continue that on this week, and let's get talking. This is what this platform is all about. We love to hear from you guys, even if it is just in the chat. But if you'd like to come on and say hi or ask any questions about the tour or comment on anything, or just tell us about what you're doing for Thanksgiving, I would really love to hear from you guys.
Before we do that, I just want to go through and highlight, this trip that Dave is coming to the U.S. I know you mentioned tour. This one's not really like a tour, like an official book tour. This particular trip is focused around a handful of events. It's about Dave coming back. This trip is long overdue, and this trip is going to, there are, I think, really some key elements of this trip that will carry this momentum to the ultimate book tour for Austin's Amazing Adventures. So that is really, I think, what this part of this trip is all about.
We had a whole book tour planned. I know we spoke about this before, but for those that don't know, we had a whole book tour planned for October, coast to coast. Literally, I've got the stops, that we were planning, and it was, we were going to start taking shape. But the problem was that because the official announcements for restrictions being lifted on people from the UK and Europe being able to travel into the States, unfortunately, we had to kind of shelve it and put it on hold. And then when the restrictions were lifted only just a few weeks ago, and the restrictions officially had lifted on the 8th of November, but we heard about it a few days before, and literally as soon as we heard about it, Barry, you were straight, into planning this week or 10 days to kind of put something together. And I think what we've done and the events that we've got and the other things that we're going to be doing is really going to set the tone, as you said, for next year and going forward.
Yeah, this is we've mentioned this before, but pre-COVID, the momentum, we were all excited going into 2020, the analogy 2020 with sight, it's going to be this big, incredible year for the sight loss community, everything that was planned out, and, everything was just literally, taken away. And of course, I always say everything happens for a reason, it's not to, undermine or belittle as far as what COVID, did to the world, and really change things. But this, I think we're at that point where this is like that re-entry, and, we are going to really make our mark now, closing out 2021 and moving into 2022. So let's just, give a rundown of what this trip is going to look like. And I want to, specifically, there are a few events that we want to invite people to, if they can make it, of course. And maybe we'll have a meet up in certain locations as well. And I think this is a way where people can meet you face to face. I don't want to
Before we do that, can we just check the chat a second to see there's some things going on in the chat there? I just want to say, if you can read them out, catch up.
First of all, the chat is very active. Hello, Zane. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name properly. Zane's from Glasgow. Welcome and good evening. Thank you very much. Oh, Z, we'll call you Z. Okay, thanks. Perfect. Ellie, thank you so much for your comments. I think, and Ellie shares with everyone, I think many people who are visually impaired are very burdened by having self-advocacy and public education thrust upon them. And maybe they stay away from the public because it's heavy on them to have to explain or hear people's skepticism. So I'm glad Dave has chosen very effective means for carrying that advocacy. Absolutely. Traditionally, Dave is a unique individual. We like to do things very differently. So thank you, Ellie, for that encouraging feedback. Really appreciate it. Yep. And Z says, this poem hits home for me as I am visually impaired and I have to travel back home. So I feel how sometimes there are some struggles we face as a whole. So excellent comments being shared in the chat tonight, this evening, or this afternoon. So let's talk about this. So Dave arrives next Tuesday. I'm looking forward to being at the airport to welcome you at JFK Airport. Dave, before we moved over to Zoom, we used to do a lot of like Facebook Lives. I feel like, do they still exist? Do people do them?
Yeah, they do, but I think this is a kind of much better platform for being able to bring multiple people in to the lives and having the chat and everything else. So yeah, we did, and then we had issues kind of with the Facebook Live, and then had to look for other means. And this, when 2020 hit, was the platform that everyone was kind of turning to. And I think, in the future, I was actually talking about this the other day. I think, with tea and poetry growing as it is, I think we're going to look at being able to do it on multiple platforms, such as YouTube, to cast it, simulcast it on YouTube at the same time from Zoom, which I believe you can do. And also I hear lots of people talking about the platform Clubhouse.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah, and I think that is a thing we can maybe look at in the future. But anything we can do to keep it growing and reaching more people. So
absolutely.
If anyone's got any ideas or suggestions or knows a little bit more than we do, then we always welcome the help.
Well, I was just trying to think of a way, like, do we, like, when after you arrive, do we jump on a Facebook Live? Is it just an Instagram post? I'm trying to figure out,
yeah,
what
I think the best way to kind of do is we'll be posting everything on various forms of social media under a particular hashtag, which we will let everyone know.
Perfect. Okay, so first stop is New York. First stop is New York. The first event that I would like to open up, extend an invitation to, is for Thursday, December 2nd. All right, this is a collaboration that Dave was referring to in the beginning of TM Poetry today, that's been in the works for a long time. And this collab, besides I'm going to let Dave share all the details, because this is something that I know that he is so excited about. I am also very excited as well, but this is, an excitement for Dave on a different level for various reasons. So this collaboration, what I think is so special about this collaboration, besides just being this really cool collaboration, what I think is so special is that it's opening up a new path, a new demographic of individuals who really do not have any relation, understanding, and knowledge of the overall sight loss community. And I think that this is the impact and part of our mission here and the efforts that we're trying to do to continuously raise the awareness, raise the bar. This event is going to open up that new opportunities for people, outside the sight loss community who are probably not connected in any way, shape, or form, and really probably do not even know or have a clue of what's going on. This will be an entry point for this demographic. So, Dave, without further ado, please share with the world where we will be next Thursday, and let's talk about this event. And there's two opportunities. There'll be a morning and then an evening. We'll get to that. As far as the actual invite, again, if you are in New York, we encourage you to come. If you're not in New York, we'll be sharing highlights and pictures and all that stuff. If you know someone in New York, feel free to extend the invitation to this event. It's going to be something quite unique. And take it away.
So, yeah, I'm very proud and excited to announce I'm collaborating with the French perfume house called Parfums de Marly, and they're what you would call a niche fragrance house. So a niche fragrance house, for those people that don't know, is a perfume company that only makes perfume. So you have lots of designer companies like Chanel and Dior and lots of companies, Tom Ford, that make other things as well as fragrances. But niche fragrances tend to be a little bit more exclusive, a little bit more expensive, a little bit more complex, and they're made by houses that you may have heard of. Some of them. One of the most popular ones in the world that everyone kind of knows is Creed Aventus, Creed, who are another French house. But Parfums de Marly are an amazing house of fragrances, and I've been interested in this kind of thing now for a few years. Really, I noticed since I started to lose my sight more that I become more attuned. I wouldn't say my senses have heightened. I've just become more attuned to my sense of smell. And when I got into niche fragrances, what I loved about these kind of complex and more intricate fragrances is that when you spray a perfume or a cologne or whatever you want to call it on skin, there is an initial opening of how it smells, and then it changes as it dries down, and you have different notes and smells coming forward, and these things can make you feel things. So a lot of you will be familiar of how a perfume or a fragrance can remind you of a particular holiday or a time in your life and things like that, and evoke certain memories. But also they can make you feel things like they can make you feel comforted when you feel anxious. They can make you feel confident when you feel insecure. Lots of things. And this is how I use fragrances, and I've used them. So if I'm sat in and I'm feeling isolated, I maybe put something on that makes me feel kind of warm and cozy. Or if I'm going out to an event and I want to feel strong and confident, I'll use a particular fragrance. So with Parfums de Marly, the connection was amazing. And we talk many times on these lives and Tea and Poetry about how things happen at the right time and for a reason. Last year, I was bought a bottle for my birthday from Parfums de Marly, and I posted on Instagram saying that how much I love the bottle, and also how a person with low vision may use fragrance in a different way. And the next day, I got a Instagram message from a gentleman by the name of Ivan Jacqueline, who is the managing director of Parfums de Marly and runs the operations out of New York. And he wanted to have a conversation with me. And we've continued to speak for a year, planning this and waiting for the restriction to be lifted. So the event is called Scents. So Scents and Senses. Scents and Senses. And what we're going to be doing is Ivan, who is just a very well known and very well thought of.
He's a figure in the fragrance.
He's a big figurehead within the fragrance community. Is going to be doing some perfume masterclasses, talking about these things that I've just spoke about how fragrances can change and make you feel and evoke different things, and teaching people these things blindfolded. So we really kind of bring the senses into concentrating on the sense of smell. and we're going to be talking about my experiences with perfume. I'm going to be talking about a life living with low vision and reading some of the poetry that I've become known to read, and reading it to people outside of our community as well. And there's going to be a mixture of people from the blind community there. There's going to be a mixture of people from the fragrance community. There's going to be some press there. There's going to be some customers there. And it's going to be such an amazing day. And I just want to show you something. I don't know if even you've seen this, Barry, before. I've actually got a couple of bottles here of Parfums de Marly bottles, just to show you what the bottles are like. And I'm going to audio describe that. You can just see how beautiful that is.
From what I can see, there's some tactile feel to the logo.
It is very tactile, and that's one of the things I love about Parfums de Marly is the presentation and the thought process that goes into it. So to audio describe for those people that have no useful vision, I'm holding a bottle up. This one is called Parfums de Marly Calan, and it's kind of a spicy kind of blood orange fragrance. It's beautiful. It really projects amazingly. And the bottle is a beautiful red, and it's made of ceramic. It's very heavy, made of ceramic. And on the front of it, it has a crest from the Parfums de Marly house, which is 2 horses over a shield. And it shows its connection. The house is connected to French royalty, and also horses and the whole equestrian side as well. And the top of the cap of the bottle is, wait till you feel, it's so heavy. This thing is solid metal, metal silver kind of triangular cap, which goes on the bottle there. And all the bottles are kind of like that. I've got another one here. It's exactly the same ceramic, but it's gold.
That's really nice.
Yeah, they're all beautiful bottles, and you'll see the full collection when we're at the event. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing event. Parfums de Marly have been so generous with regards to putting on this event, and there's going to be champagne, and they're putting on food. We've got press coming from Oprah magazine and Marie Claire, and possibly the New York Times as well. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing day, and I'm going to be also signing copies of Austin's Amazing Adventures there. So that's going to be fantastic as well.
Yeah, it's again, like I said before, this is to me, this is like one of these events that really, like Z is saying, yes, oh my God, that's epic. Yes, it is, because we're talking to a whole different demographic that's not used to hear anything about sight loss. And so if we can get, that some of the press and the media that's scheduled to be there to write about and share this concept and to talk about sight loss and share Dave's journey, that just elevates things and continues, to push and really to, carry this momentum as far as not what we're doing here, but I think as a whole, as, people who are out there pushing and working so hard to, have that shift, when it comes to inclusive design and just everything, where things are not an afterthought when it comes to disability, but to being at the forefront. I think this will have a significant impact, and as far as just by just doing this event, and space is limited. So if anyone here is going to be in the New York area Thursday, we would love for you to visit and be on hand. If you're going to be in the evening, have a glass of champagne with us. And, the nice thing also is that I have a non-for-profit. It's called the Lanny D. Chesapeake Lighthouse. I formed it. It is named after my dear friend, may his soul rest in peace, Lanny Dennis. It was named after him for his tireless work and his advocacy and the work that he did for the sight loss community, primarily in the greater Baltimore, DC, Virginia, Northern Virginia region. And I made this promise to Lanny that his legacy will continue on. So Parfums de Marly, they are going to be contributing a very generous percentage of the sales that take place all day Thursday to the Lanny D. Chesapeake Lighthouse. It's not that they're just putting on an event, they're putting on an event and they're contributing as well. So we're very excited about this opportunity. and where it will go, where things will, change. And just again, every little bit as far as all this work that Dave's doing, it just keeps, pushing and pushing and pushing. Keep pounding the pavement, and change will happen. And we got to be creative about these things. So this is what we'll be doing next Thursday in New York City.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just kind of the start. There's going to be lots kind of happening, but we always talk about a need for raising awareness and talking about these things that we talk about week in, week out here on Tea and Poetry, outside of the community, and how do we reach more people outside of the community, not just support the people in the community and encourage people in the community to live their lives to the full, but also how do we erase those misconceptions and change opinions and help people, stop the isolation by educating people, so people don't feel the need to isolate, because everyone knows the many shades of blindness. And that's all, part of why we do events like this. And obviously with Austin's Amazing Adventures, that is a key part of that as well, and all part of why I'm coming out. I was having a conversation about the book the other day, and I want to share something about the book in a second, which is so cool, which we didn't talk about last week because it hadn't happened yet. Now, we spoke about Austin's Amazing Adventures, on how the books are aimed to help children with not just with low vision and blindness, but with different challenges, be better understood and give them those characters to kind of relate to. And how we want to work with the schools, both in America and here in the UK, to kind of do that and get those stories heard. Well, I can announce now, and this is another really cool thing, just, a testament to the hard work that's going on behind the scenes. Last week, for the very first time, the books were used in a school here in the UK as part of a lesson for ages 9 and 10. And I want to tell you what happened during that lesson. The kids,
unbelievable,
in the lesson were, first of all, they loved the story. At the end of the book, there's what we call talking points, so questions that they are asked to put themselves in the position and situations that go on in the story, and really, understand more about how they would feel. One of the greatest questions that's in those talking points is, how could you help someone in your school if they were losing their sight? And there's the book right there. And so, yeah, they loved the book. They were going through the questions.
Yes,
and
Barry is holding the book up. Austin's Amazing Adventures.
One of the children asked about Braille, and only one of the kids in the class had heard of Braille before. So the teacher then got up the Braille alphabet onto the board, and the children then proceeded to write messages to Austin in Braille, from seeing it for the first time, which, when I heard that, literally brought me to tears. And, one of the things that I see happening with this is, I want to see children having this experience in the schools, go home to their parents and educate their parents. How cool is that, to have children going home and educating their parents on what blindness really means and how there's many shades of it, and learning it through these stories. And that is, once again, doubling back to doing events like Parfums de Marley. It's raising that awareness and dealing with those misconceptions in such a different way.
It's when you shared that with me, just after that took place in Austin school, I literally had chills like running through my body because of excitement. And to, we've been talking about this, with the book coming out, how our kids are going to interact. Is it going to make an impact? Are kids going to know what Braille is? Are kids going to get more comfortable, being around individuals with sight loss? How will they interact? This is exactly, what you wanted to achieve. And it's already made an impact just in that classroom, by itself.
Well, can I just It wasn't actually in Austin's school. It was in a school down south.
Okay.
It's in Sue's school where she works.
Oh, okay.
In Austin's school, we're going to be doing something.
Okay. I knew. I got confused. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
no. It's so much going on. But yeah, that was in Sue Green, the illustrator. It was in her school where she's a teacher where they did that. But next year, after I get back from America, early next year, our local news is going to be coming into Austin school, and they're going to be filming Granada Reports, which goes right through the northwest of England. Granada Reports are going to be filming myself and Austin doing a talk for a class at Austin school as well.
There we go. Okay, I knew. I knew there was something there with Austin school.
And lots more of that to come as well, both here in America. The plan is, and Austin's talking about it, Austin wants to come to America. He wants to come into schools in America and talk about these books, and also get himself an American girlfriend.
Oh. Okay, he's telling me he's been watching too much TV.
Yeah.
No, all of this is exactly, the message that we're trying to send out to the public, and this is, this is what I think what keeps us, getting up early, going to sleep late, carrying this and doing all these types of events, whether it's in school with the Fragrance House, or if it's going to be on Saturday night in New York, where Dave will be on hand for the final performance of Odd Man Out. We've talked about it here when it first opened up. The Low Vision Shop got behind this off-Broadway theatrical performance. It's a full 360-degree experience in the dark. Talk about scents and everything that's there are scents that go off in that production. Dave will be there on hand to wrap it up. It will be at 9 p.m. They've actually it's really the performers have been really selling out and really performing I think beyond expectations. So they've actually added for weekends. They've added additional performances. So we will be there at the 9 p.m. performance at the Flea Theater, which is in New York City downtown. If anyone here who's listening, whether they're listening today on the live or leading up to Saturday night, December 4th, please reach out to me, Bari, B-A-R-I, at thelowvisionshop.com. It would be my greatest pleasure to extend complimentary tickets and seats for the event. We'd love to have you there. And again, another exciting opportunity. I know we haven't really had a chance to bring people on. I know there's just so much to share on this particular TM Poetry. After we wrap things up in New York City, we are going to head down to Baltimore. And we will be in Baltimore on Monday, December 6th, Tuesday, December 7th, and part of the day, December 8th. There's going to be a photo shoot that Dave is going to be participating in on Monday afternoon in Baltimore. Sedona Dave will be in town.
You've got me modeling again.
I've got you modeling again. You're gonna be modeling in some very special apparel.
Yeah.
Sedona Dave will be in town as well. But there are going to be a few other surprise guests.
Oh, yes, there is.
I'm not going to reveal. There will be some surprise guests in town in Baltimore under one roof for this photo shoot as well. This photo shoot is going to capture all sorts of stuff. There are a variety of things that will be taking place, and then a yet to be announced event will take place in Baltimore, location to be determined. So if you're in Baltimore again Tuesday and we're going to do a virtual, and then there will be limited seating to be on hand for this event, yet to be announced. Stay tuned. This is going to be, as Sedona Dave says, an epic event.
Oh, yes, it is.
So yes, get almost guaranteed to have media there as well. So we will be in Baltimore, wrap things up there. Again, anyone who's in Baltimore, for anyone out there, if you are, I'll read that, Ken, in just 1 second for Dave. Sharon, you will get a personal invitation. I know Sharon is out there. Yes, Sharon, you have a personal invitation to be on hand for Tuesday. I think that you will be, yeah, it's going to be epic. And Wednesday we have some meetings. But again, if you're in Baltimore, I would love to invite anyone here who wants to attend to be in Baltimore with us on that Tuesday for this event. Please just reach out to me again, Bari, B-A-R-I, at thelowvisionshop.com. And I wish more people would be in Baltimore because this is going to be epic. I got all those thumbs ups and smiles from Sedona Dave. Also on Thursday, December 9th, if I am correct, Thursday, December 9th, yes. Dave will be in South Florida, and we have a handful of meetings, but we are going to announce a small gathering and meetup. So if anyone is in South Florida, please, look out for some posts on social media as well. And looking forward to getting together and doing a small event here as well. So it's a full 10 days, and it's going to be epic. Z, I wish you were here with us as well. We're going to be sharing and documenting every day of this trip. It's something that we did back in 2019 when Dave came over for his first trip, and we will definitely make sure to document very well throughout social media. So a lot of incredible events planned. And so if you're opportunities for New York, Baltimore, and South Florida, looking forward. If you can't be on hand for any of those events, you're going to want to be on hand for the Tuesday event virtually. That will be epic. So yes, really good stuff. We would love to come to, Robert, we would love to come to Kansas City. I think that's going to be Kansas City, St. Louis, Missouri is on the plans for the larger trip in 2022. So stay tuned. Before we call on some guests, I just want to go through here some of the comments. There have been a lot of comments that have been going on here. Let's see. Thank you, Sharon. Yes, I founded a non-for-profit instead of I have. That is correct. I do not have a non-for-profit. I'm a founding member. No one owns a nonprofit. I'm a founding member. That is correct. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you for pointing that out. That is 100%. Nonprofits are not public companies. There is a board, and that is, Sharon, you're 100% correct. Just a lot of excitement going on here. What else here? Maria says, you're so right. In the school, children must be educated by teachers and at home by parents on how to deal with problems of blindness. Very interesting video. Ken says, Dave, when you're in Baltimore, be sure to try some of their great crab cakes.
I already have done.
Yes.
Diane took me out for crab cakes in 2019.
Yes, yeah. Ken said he lived in Baltimore for 4 years and loved it. Sharon says, putting Dave on my schedule. Yes, double Dave. I can't wait to see you guys as well. Can't wait to Sharon for you to be there, of course. And yes, Jennifer, we would love to come to California. We will make it to the West Coast in 2022.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, we actually, that was all good, Sharon. All good, Sharon. You know I love you. And yes, all good. It's funny, just the other day, just yesterday, we were we were doing an event, and someone had requested Dave's presence for an event for 2024. I'm like, 2024? That's like light years out, Let's focus on wrapping up 2021 and starting 2022.
Yeah.
So it was good. Ellie, we'll get to that as far as the students and teachers. We will definitely get to that all as well.
Absolutely.
So great stuff. Okay, let's bring on Travis. I'm going to bring on Travis, who's been patiently waiting to join the conversation. Travis, you are cleared to speak. Go for it, Travis.
You are listening to live team coverage right here, right now on TM Poetry Radio, brought to you by the Home Depot, How Doers Get More Done, the Low Vision Shop, now open in Miami, Florida, and Groom Transportation, featuring short to long bus trips in Arizona from going to Sedona to Flagstaff and everything in between.
Awesome. Look at that. Travis, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing great. It's always great to hear your voice. I do want to say that I went to a competing store of the Home Depot, and I felt guilty because I was in that store Saturday night. I won't mention the competitor's name, but I do want to say that I did feel guilty going to that competitor.
Mm-hmm.
But did not make any purchases there, so we'll see.
Okay. Travis, I've got to ask you, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Are you all set? Are you ready? Are you excited?
Well, I'll tell you a story. We had an early Thanksgiving Monday night with one of my aunts, my brother, sister-in-law, and the kids and their dog, because my brother has to work, I believe, today and tomorrow. Plus, they're gonna go see family tomorrow night into Friday, and they have plans Saturday, so it made total sense. And tomorrow, since we saw my brother and sister-in-law and all already, we're going to a friend's house tomorrow for Thanksgiving dinner. And my BFF, who I've talked about on the call, who works with me, Kelly, is going to be joining me and the family.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
So, yep. So everything's all lined up. The only thing Mom has to do is she is doing fruit salad, green salad, and an appetizer with crackers and some homemade artichoke dip.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds really good.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And my BFF is bringing the cranberry
I was going to ask you, how's your BFF doing? I didn't want to embarrass you or anything like that, but since you mentioned her, how is she doing?
She is doing great. She's been doing great.
Very happy. So she will be with you for Thanksgiving.
Well, yes, and she's been with us in all of our Thanksgivings ever since she's moved down here, because her family is up north, far away.
Got it.
And also,
really nice.
Too, since this Friday is actual Black Friday, all of us, including Kelly and myself, have to be at work on Black Friday, and we both have to be at work at 8 a.m. Friday morning. So at least we're staying local.
That's Friday's the big day here in the U.S. Big day.
Yep.
They don't have Black Friday in the UK, do they?
They do, actually. It's only been the last few years it's kind of come. Obviously nowhere near as big, but there has been a few of the kind of incidents that you guys have on Black Fridays at certain stores of people fighting over TVs and all those kind of things.
Yes.
Yeah, we have been fairly Americanized by the Black Friday for a few years now. I don't tend to get involved in any of that stuff. You won't find me or anyone in my family at the shops on a Black Friday.
Yeah, my parents don't really shop on a Black Friday. I mean, the only thing my dad bought for my nephew's Christmas present, because obviously it's on sale, and this is an online order. He ordered a special Xbox that he's been asking for Christmas. And his other grandparents are going to be getting him. It's like some aerospace thing. He's going to be getting the joystick and the pedals to go with it.
I know what you're talking about. That's on my wish list, Travis. It's on my wish list. It's probably because of the new Microsoft Flight Simulator that they came out with this new Boeing edition, like a throttle and yoke. That's probably what it is.
I'm pretty sure that might be the one. And the Xbox my dad bought for my nephew was around $300.
Got it.
I can totally see you having one of those, Barry. Yeah, that's definitely.
I used to spend a lot of time when I was in school in New York City. I was living at my aunt's house. I was living in her attic, and I used to literally spend hours upon hours on Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the day.
If
And,
anyone doesn't know, Barry is an absolute plane nut. He loves aircraft, anything to do with aircraft. I actually remember on the tour in 2019 when I was at my hotel just outside JFK Airport. I was doing a Facebook Live in the morning, just kind of saying what my day was and where I was going and things like that. And Barry was watching from his house and spotted a particular type of plane. In fact, you had it on the tracker, didn't you? You knew a plane was about to pass my window.
Yep. I called it out. I was like, watch out for that Emirates A380 in the background.
There we go.
Sure
there
enough.
we go.
Yep. There we go. It was,
that
it was
doesn't
wild.
surprise me.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
So, that's great, Travis. That's on my wish list. It was actually, it's really exciting. So, by the way, Travis, you're getting you have a big fan base in the chat going on. There are people that are saying that they love your accent, they love your energy, and it's a lot of love. Just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, loving that.
Well, thank you so much. That means a whole lot to me. And I'm glad that you brought me on at the right time, because when the meeting was getting ready to start, I was actually in the middle of doing some housework, emptying the dishwasher from a heavy load last night, splitting laundry loads, stuff that has to get done before I forget. But it's all done now. So
awesome. Well, listen, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm glad you could
happy
join
Thanksgiving
us.
to all of you.
Happy Thanksgiving from the UK.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for coming back week after week after week and being a part of the tribe, Travis.
Hey, no problem.
I'm thankful for you. That's what I'm thankful for.
And I'm thankful for you, this group. And let me just say this. Can you believe before long, 2021 is going to be over?
I know. It's pretty crazy.
We're almost, it's going to be not long till we're 2 years of tea and poetry. That's crazy.
Unreal. I'm excited when it comes up in March.
Yep. So awesome. I just brought Jennifer in. Jennifer, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I left you on Travis as well.
Hi, Travis. I love your energy. You're so awesome.
Thank you. Where are you from, Jennifer?
I'm from California.
Where?
Los Angeles area.
I'm in Templeton.
Oh, you're north of me.
I am.
You are. You have an awesome breakfast house out there that I always wanted to try.
Which one's that?
I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. I just remember.
Wait, Joe's Place? You're not thinking of Joe's Place, are you?
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's it.
It is the best.
So weird. I'm sorry.
Joe, I love the connection.
This is great. We got to be connected from Miami to the Manchester to Templeton to LA to make this connection.
It's all about. This is what it's all about for me.
There's a military air show that you would love, Bari. You totally would.
Right
in California, there's a military air show that they do.
Yep.
Locally where I live, that you would totally geek out to. And you can sit there and have like drinks. I don't know if you drink alcohol or you drink like milkshakes. This place makes the best milkshakes, or if you like alcohol too, they have that. But awesome place. You can eat and watch the air show.
Nice. I'm holding up my bottle of Fiji water.
Why are you promoting them? Are they an advertisement?
No. It's just all right, hold on. I'll lift up my flask of water.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
My hydro flask. No,
there are plenty of other waters available. We're not like advertising one particular water.
No. Or I could hold up my coffee here. Once again, it's not my first one. I have two of them here, so that's
double fist in the coffee.
Yes,
absolutely.
But this is great. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us.
And can I just say, I want to put Jennifer on the spot a second. I know for a fact that after the call we had yesterday, Jennifer was actually contacting organizations on our behalf in California yesterday, trying to get us out at some point next year. So we should be maybe receiving some emails from different organizations over the coming weeks. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, no, this is awesome.
I got something. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Travis.
Speaking of air shows, I actually wanted to tell you just a story about an air show. When I lived in Colorado, I lived in Colorado Springs for a couple of years from 2000 to 2002, and we went to the air show. And there's this one Korean aircraft called the Hawker Sea Fury. It's an old plane, and I got a tour of it. Because I'm in the aircraft, and then they were getting ready to go fly, do their flybys, their air demonstrations, and the plane came back. It's like, okay, I wonder if he's having a mechanical problem. And then we got an overhead page through the loudspeakers. It's like, well, Travis and Sue, that's my mom, report to the Hawker Sea Fury. And we went, huh? Did my mom believe something there? What happened? So we go there, and the pilot who got to like me, Joe, goes, I was wondering if I could take your son up with me.
Ooh.
And my mom didn't know what to think at first. And people said, ma'am, if you say no, you are making the biggest mistake.
That is correct.
And boy, I did go up, and boy, it was a fun time.
I am sure it must have been an experience of a lifetime.
Yes, it was.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Incredible.
Yeah, did you want to say something, Jennifer? Thanks. Did you have something to say, Jennifer?
I did, but I forgot because your story was so cool.
Okay.
But I did get to go up in the Goodyear blimp, which
oh my gosh,
was really scary to jump on that because it's moving while you get on it.
Really?
And it's constant. It's like, it's inflated with helium, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a balloon, right?
Yeah, it's a balloon. Yep.
It was really scary. And it's open the whole time, and you're like, it's really cool because we got to go over like a major football event that day. So
that is cool. Like over like SoFi, like that.
Yeah, like over at the time, I think we went over like one of the football I don't know, because it was a while back.
All right.
But it was really cool.
That's great. That's awesome. That's an experience in itself, also.
Yeah, only like 1 in 100 people get to do it because you have to. You really have to like go through a lot for them to allow you to do it.
Yep. So
I happen.
It's on my bucket list.
We'll see if I can get you on.
Thank you. I've seen it, parked between when you drive from LA to San Diego. I've seen it parked over there, and so I know exactly where it's positioned and based out of. So yeah, it's good stuff. So I know we're. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I did want to say, as a person who has been caregiving for different ailments, one in particular I mentioned to you, Barry, before, my dad slowly kind of losing certain parts of his vision and not being able to drive himself anymore, and kind of being a caregiver and understanding and loving through the hard times. It's really nice to kind of have someone be a spokesperson like Dave to understand the other side. I think you guys are opening up a world to people who, just see the hardship or are alone or are kind of unaware. Like, you're opening this awareness, and especially with the event that you're talking about happening on December 2nd, like, I think you're just like, you're going to bring in a whole new world of respect, love, and hope to people. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be welcomed here and have a place to kind of, see both sides. Because as a caregiver, I'm always on the caregiver side. And so to kind of have a weigh in on the other side, hearing from somebody who can, is young enough to speak on the behalf of people who maybe are elderly or youthful and can't speak for themselves. You're kind of you both together are like a guiding light of hope. So I just want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. That means so much to me and to everything that we are doing. We put the community first, and again, really, my goal is to just continue to, increase awareness and really make an impact and change people's lives. So thank you so much for sharing that. Really, really appreciate it.
Because you join the communities of both sides, because I think sometimes I'm the caregiver and it's like, you get run down, you get burnt out, and then the person you're caring for feels guilty or bad or a burden or whatever it is. And to be honest with you, I've been on both sides. I've been the patient and I've been the caregiver. I've been on both sides. So I have that unique understanding and care and love. So I thank you guys for what you're doing, because I think you're in one community, but how broad you are, how you're going to be the example for other people in different areas and communities that can learn from you and coincide with what you're saying. Because, you know, there's so many, you know, for people caring for the deaf, I'm caring for someone who has Alzheimer's dementia. I'm also caring for I'm caring for two people at the same time. So it's like there's all these different communities of people that you're going to be legendary and exemplary for. So
thank you.
That's really kind.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So we're just about out of time, and we got to close it out with a piece of poetry, because this is TM Poetry. This has been another incredible week of TM Poetry, and I cannot wait to be doing this together with Dave
next
by
week.
my side in
Next
person.
Week.
Yes,
Wow.
we're gonna have to pick a special place where we're gonna do it from. Have a couple of ideas, but we'll get to that. If anyone wants to pick a place where they think we should be doing it from in New York City for next Wednesday, please let us know. Ping us, email us, you'll find us, but let us know. Yeah, super exciting. All right, Dave, take Jennifer and Travis, I'll leave you guys here on, so you know, through the end until Dave reads his piece, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Okay, so yeah, I want to say a massive thank you once again for another great hour of TM Poetry. It always goes way too fast, and next week is going to be it's going to be an emotional one. It's going to be an emotional one. A lot to come. Stay tuned. Tell a friend. Join us next week. Tell more people. Keep talking about us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, you know, all these things, and keep sharing. Help us get the word out there. But I'm going to leave you with this that really sums it up. And I wanted to pick this one out, especially for how we've been and how this hour has gone. It means the world. Through these past 7 years, there is so much that I have learned. From blindness sent to test me, my independence earned. I'll not forget the early days when I felt like giving in. I prayed as tender string was frayed, a new chapter would begin. Yet for a while, the problems piled upon my anxious chest. A life on hold by system cold was simply not the best. Then made to wait for unseen fate, support was sought but none. I thought my place within this world, like sight, was almost gone. But when I needed them the most, these words came pouring out. Replacing fear, I'm facing here with confidence, not doubt. And though my newfound purpose things have hurt me now no more, I know I'm not alone each time I step outside my door. With every swipe of my long cane and poem from my pen, I've told the tale of eyes that fail and how we rise again. I've learned that I don't need to fear tomorrow's what may be's. Just focus on the here and now. Today is here to seize. These things I am reminded of by those who stand by me. I'm thankful for my tribe I found through tea and poetry.
It is spot on. So wanted to just, you know, thank everyone as always for joining us. Great to see so many new faces. I want to wish everyone, whether it's a still afternoon, a good evening, or a good morning for those in Australia. And I also wanted to say a quick, a big shout out. And
can I just say hello to? Can I just say hello to Maria in Italy?
Yes.
Who's tuning in right now as well?
Awesome. This is awesome. But I do want to just say a big thank you to someone who is always silent and in the background week after week and goes through and edits these the live streams and takes care of them. I want to give a big shout out to Mohammed for doing such an incredible job, and thank you so much for everything that you do to take care of it and do all the incredible work that you do to make TM Poetry look amazing.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, we're saying so long, wishing everyone, whether it's afternoon, evening, or morning, So long. Great to see everyone. And we look forward to seeing everyone next week together with Dave by my side. Cheers.
Thank you for watching Tea and Poetry, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Join us live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. A big thank you to our sponsors, the Lanny D. Chesapeake Lighthouse and the Low Vision Shop. If you enjoyed Tea and Poetry, please invite a friend, like, share, and subscribe.